The Stranger gave us the closest thing we will ever get to Old Republic cinematic fights in live action. What he represented, both narratively and ideologically, was a break from the norm in Star Wars canon. Say what you will about The Acolyte, but I loved it. But what I loved the most about it was The Stranger.
Unseen for a DYAD in the force.
Through the Skywalker saga, we witnessed the rise and fall of an empire at the hands of the Sith, through the lens of arguably one of the most infamous and notorious villains in all of fandom, Darth Sidious, and by proxy, Darth Vader. But what did we actually learn from Palpatine? That he bore ill feelings towards the Jedi, as he is wont to do considering he is a Sith Lord. We learned that Palpatine was a mastermind, a designer, a schemer, someone who had played both sides of a manufactured war, playing 4D chess while everyone was still on chutes and ladders. He had brought down the Republic and the CIS in an effort to undermine the very foundations of the Jedi Order after 1,000 years of relative peace. His design spanned decades, so much so that he had threatened the galaxy entire once again with a fleet on Exegol, only to be thwarted by the very catalyst of the Chosen One. Through Anakin, Luke and Leia had risen up to stop the Empire, and through Anakin, Luke and Leia trained Rey to prevent the Sith from rising once again. But Chimere? The Stranger? This was our first time dealing with someone who had a very simple goal: acquire an acolyte. Now, whether or not the Stranger is a Sith, the fact still remains the Sith were in complete hiding during this time, so he had to operate with extreme amounts of caution. But that goal of wanting an acolyte brought him to challenge the very ideology and worldview of not just the Jedi, but someone who had been trained by them.
The Jedi teach there's only one way to access the Force. And if you don't do it their way, it fades. But there is another way.
Now, we've read an extended canon through the books and comics many times over and have witnessed the fall of many Jedi to the dark side. But this was truly our first time seeing someone of the darkness truly corrupt someone of the light. Listening to the Stranger compel Osha to join him, challenge her beliefs, challenge her worldviews tempered by the Jedi Order. It is a subject matter we have only seen at the surface level during the Clone Wars, and at a distance within the Skywalker saga itself just by proxy of exploring the themes of redemption. We witnessed the fall of Anakin only because narratively and mechanically, we were all aware that redemption awaited.
He could actually save people from death.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Break me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
Your emotions betray you. Your fear, and yes, your anger. Let your anger deepen your hatred.
With your hatred, you will take my life, and you will ascend. Make the sacrifice.
And up until this point, all the temptations of the dark side had boiled down to an appeal to one's anger and hatred. But what the Acolyte did was turn that trope on its head and let us bear witness to someone's utter fall. And not just through manipulation or betrayal, but by massaging a very real and legitimate grievance and pain.
Why do you love people who can only go so far? Who can't go as deep as you can? I understand. I lost everything. Osha. But when you lose everything, that's when you're finally free.
There was no design, there was no ruse, there was no manipulation of events, there was no emergency powers for the Stranger to utilize and take advantage of. The Stranger was, for all intents and purposes, applying the very same teachings he had taught to May, leading with fear, anger, hatred, and aggression.
Below the surface of consciousness are powerful emotions. Anger, fear, loss.
The dark side, and it was by that virtue that he had led Osha to make her own decision. No matter how wrong the Sith ideology is, contrasted by the very flaws of human condition, and in this case a Jedi who had twisted their love and attachment for someone, it made sense to Osha. And we love a good villain that's wrong, but makes you go, They got a point. The Stranger has gone down as one of the most intriguing and inexplicable quiddities in Star Wars. And if we don't get a continuation to his story, it'll also go down as one of the most disappointing and grossest missed opportunities. As always, like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. Tune in on Fridays, 5 p.m. Pacific for our live show, DYAD in the Force. And may the Force be with you.